And we're live. Apparently, we're live. Right? Sort of on time. Oh, can they hear me? Okay, it heard me. Hey, Zodberg, Cornbread. I don't know what you redacted. Nanbox64, Sir Maximus Hardwood, Sin Ram, Purple Goop, Rams the Artist. Austin was probably there. Thank you, Cornbread. That was thank you. It's been a crazy night and all those things. But I'm happy to have you here on Movie Crap Live. We have a lot of cool things. Oh, hold on. Dylan Butler. I think I said Sinram, but if I didn't, Sinram. Nattenbox64, Purple Goop, Javier Portello, Nathaniel Foga. Yes. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being on this show. And now watching the show. And now I'm going to switch over. Hey, we're in the kitchen again, I guess. Move that over. Hot in the kitchen, I guess is the best way to say it. Wait, where are we? Okay, hot in the kitchen. Austin, how's it going, Austin? But yeah, and thank you, Cornbread, for being here as long as you can. Hey, Caden Hanshai. Awesome. Thank you for joining the Discord. That's amazing. It's been a good week. Let me get rid of that. Sorry. It's been a good week. I've been watching stuff. I feel better about the channel after all that nonsense. I know that was a week ago, but I still... Oh, hello, Jordan. I still, it was still a little... but I feel good. Bringing stuff back. All that stuff. I saw a bunch of stuff. Oh, hello, Ashley. How's it going? I actually saw It Ends With Us, which actually had a twist that I actually liked, and about the abuse stuff, and it was actually it was, I'll give the movie credit. I was like, okay, alright. At first you're like, what the hell is this? What is this? The dialogue's not good, and it's not a good movie. I'm not going to say it's a good movie, but the twist, I was like, okay, that was actually... I'm not a big twist fan. You get sick of that shit, but I got to be honest with you. I liked the twist. That's like kind of the only thing I liked. But there we go. Hello, Rat Boy. Mickey, hello. So as we watched, my wife and I watched The Pelican Brief last night, which is very long, but the guy who directed that, and I feel like if anyone Sinram would know this, not to be... I feel like Sinram would remember the guy who directed The Pelican Brief and All the President's Men. But man, he can direct a court legal drama. Like he directs the hell out of that shit. Like, it is insane how well he shoots those things. There's some shots I was like, you did not need to go this hard. Like, nobody who does these goes this hard. And he's a great director. Like, he might be the best visual director at legal dramas, which is not a genre you think of with that. Hello everybody. If I haven't seen Jordan Slav, I think I've said hello to everyone. I hope I have. So I was gonna go to a movie this week, but I was having some stomach issues. I actually got a lot of sleep and rest, and that was nice. But I'll tell you something, had I gone, I couldn't go to the Substance because it has, I'm not joking with you, and this is one thing, and I guess we'll talk about this later, but I'll talk about this now a little bit. The worst show times. Like, I was like, I can't fit this into my schedule at all. It's either like I stay up really, really late, or I skip work, or I don't know. It was like not, sometimes that, like, I'm not trying to be silly. Even in New York, yeah, you did get it right. You did. I thought he did, but he's not up to where he is. I'll get to you, Austin. But yeah, I've noticed there's some movies if you're like, why don't you see it? I'll say that here, but there's sometimes I don't see a movie because the show times, like, I'd have to wait around for an hour. So that's why, actually, I'm not joking. That is why I missed Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas, because I could not deal with the show times. I'm not even joking with you. But I do want to see The Substance, and I want to see Megalopolis. I'd like to see Joker 2. Saturday night, I don't know. I'd like to see Pieces. So it's like, I'm going to go to the movies. I think I might have to do a double feature. I did see Wild Robot, and that review is probably going to be out tomorrow, I hope. Or at least it's going to be the next review. Anyway, Austin, and nobody got the energy drink. I do have work. That's the problem. I have a full-time job. It is called Alani, and so I grabbed it. We were at Target. We did a big Target shop, and I got Alani, and I just saw, hey, it's a different drink. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't see Save Christmas, and I realized it said Kim K, and I think we all know who that is. I didn't realize that, so I apologize, but I'd already bought it, so whatever. So I'm just going to pretend that this is Kim Cattrall. This is Kim Cattrall's energy drink. I like her. She was nice at Mystery Science Theater thing. Never forget that Demi Moore, star of the substance, was also Ramsey Oshie should have guessed that, unless you did and I missed it. Sorry. Never forget that Demi Moore, the star of the substance, was also in the Master Ninja movie. I forgot about that. Master Ninja theme song. Cheers to you, Austin. I like that. It's got a pink lemonade taste. Anyway, this can be a different one. Who the fuck cares? But, yeah, it's... And I have not seen the Grape Welch's Ghost one that I've seen interest in the Discord. I have not seen that. So I also wanted to say I don't think I'll watch Hellboy. There's like too much to watch. I also want to see Salem's Lot. I'm also like catching up on movie review vote winners, so I'm not hurting for what to watch right now. I'm also recording. I haven't done a time lapse of me shooting something in the kitchen before, so I wanted to do that tonight. So actually over there, I'm gonna go hi. Whenever I don't know when it's gonna come out. Yeah, I'm doing a time lapse during this. So I just thought I wanted to have one in every room I shoot in, and I thought, well, I've never done it here. So I know they're like sort of silly filler, but I've kind of come to like this room and that room and this. I like them in different rooms and the different ways I shoot things is sort of like a weird little document. I might make a compilation of them after this one, but I don't have any plans of when that would happen. But it's sort of like as much behind the scenes as we can do with this. But okay, I saw Wild Robot with my daughter. Went great. Audience actually clapped at the end of the movie, like in a regular Sunday screen. We had a great time. Got to go to Toy Tokyo, which was fun. But it was really legitimately like a great movie, but I'll have the review out soon. Then I actually have some cool channel stuff. I actually have 2 comments. Well, no, okay, first, this is a thing that probably only matters to me, maybe. I want to share it. So in New York, there's a legendary public access show called Sci-Fi Ninja Theater. And they have a TikTok, and they reshared my TikTok of Tim Burton almost, and I think it was part 4. They reshared it, which was really nice of them. And it really kind of made me feel really good, because that's like a legacy. It's like that and Video Music Box, I think, are 2 of our legacy shows to me. Hello, Evil Ghost Ninja. And Sci-Fi Ninja shared it. Him and I have talked a few times, but we tried to get... This isn't a joke, like I have his phone number. We've tried to figure out, like, meet at a con, because he does a lot of con footage, and it's never worked out, to be honest with you, but it's really cool that he shared that, because it means a lot, because it's like a legendary thing, and I don't know if you guys have heard of that. If you're from New York, you haven't. I thought that was very cool of him, and it made my morning a bit. I was like, you know what, I know we're not like best buds, we've only talked a few times, but it's cool that he's like showing some support, so I gotta say big thank you to Sci-Fi Ninja Theater that they're still, and follow them on TikTok. I'll post the link to it in the Discord and in the comments here, but you should follow him. He posts a lot of stuff, so be warned. But he has a ton of footage. But we literally we've talked. We were on the same channel for a little bit when I did public access, but we were gonna meet up at New York Comic Con. And it didn't work out, unfortunately. But we tried to do it. New York Comic Con, a lot of cons are not nice to him, but he deserves the respect. Also, I know I talked about I should do highlighted comments, but I got 2 really cool ones that I want to comment on. Comment on the comments. Ha ha ha. that I want to highlight and read to you guys, because I don't think you go through every single comment where is it? Come on, man. Oh, is this haven't? No, I don't want haven't responded to. Come on, YouTube. Jesus. All right, sorry. Okay, so we have 2 cool comments, and I'm going to read these both. I'm not surprised if anyone hasn't heard of it. It's sort of like a Queens, Brooklyn thing. It was bigger a while ago. It matters to me. Like, really, I'm sure. But if someone does give a comment, say, hey, sabotage these rules, because it does. Okay, on the When King Kong Was on the Empire State Building video, this commenter, Allison Zuko, 1892, wrote, my dad's best friend Gary and his mate are the 2 guys who installed the 1983 gorilla. Yes, only 2 guys installed. As a favor for the owner of the Empire State Building, it lasted a day, but Harry Hamsley, 235 Park Avenue, was happy. Gary's dad, Jack O'Keefe, installed the building curtain for the Empire State, the Trade Tower, and the Sears Building. Oh, and the Louvre in Paris, the Pyramid. You want stories, we got them. And I said, oh, wow, that's awesome, and stuff like that, but not as good as her comment. And this one's on a video, I think people forget I did a review of all the Simpsons shorts for the Tracy Ullman years and stuff. And this person time-stamped it. Don't understand this one. Dennis Tomeo wrote, during the production of the shorts of the 3rd season of the Tracy Ullman Show, Nancy Cartwright's mentor, Dawes Butler, who's the voice of Huckleberry Hound, died at age 71 in 1988, and I can confirm, I know that is true, actually, at least about when Dawes Butler died. But I thought that was interesting. I didn't know Nancy Cartwright's mentor was Dawes Butler. So those are 2 cool comments that I got, and I thought I'd share them both with you. So, I think if I get stuff like that, we should share, I mean, it's public, it's not, but yeah, you can check those out if you want to. The Simpsons short video, I reviewed all of them. I watched all of them. I reviewed them when I was doing my 1988 stuff. And, yes, hold on. It was a bit of a hectic, so I cut my finger on the windowsill there, but I'm okay. But a lot of delays in trying to get the show going, so I apologize if I'm a little like, bleh, bleh, bleh. Wait, no, hold on. Sorry, I want to read off, because the screening, I want to have all this stuff. I want to have my info. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. I want to have all my info ready, and we'll talk about the screening, and then we'll actually. Sorry, this is the Jim Talks a Bunch of Nonsense thing. But there's a reminder that tomorrow night in Baltimore, October 11th, which is tomorrow, at Normal's Books and Records, my short Phone Bugging is going to be a part of a night of experimental film, music, and animation. Doors open at 7:30. The show is at 8. $10 at the door. I have confirmed. I want to confirm. I know it's confirmed because Matt told me the flyers have arrived for him. Have arrived. So if you go there, you can pick up flyer. It says thanks for coming on the back. So I think there'll be some friends and family of mine there. I do not get to go, and I have extremely mixed feelings. I wish I wish I could go to that. I kind of am disappointed in myself. But I only have so many days off and a family and a full-time job and stuff, so it wasn't in the cards, unfortunately. But it's going to be on my soul tomorrow, trust me. But if you are in Baltimore, I very much hope you go. It'd be really cool if you went, take a picture, tell them, clap extra hard at my short, but also be nice to everyone else and all that stuff. The information is on my thing, and I will post it again tomorrow. And I think that's everything. Throwbacks was just it was really just Joker, which a lot of people are checking out, and that's nice. And I won't have another throwback till the weekend, which is a Halloween throwback of the creature from the Black Lagoon, which is having its 70th anniversary this year. I'm doing a lot of anniversaries for Halloween throwbacks. So the 70th anniversary of Creature from the Black Lagoon is, that review is going to be out on Saturday. So check that out if you want to. And thank you for watching all the other stuff. I have been getting a lot done, even though I had the Joaquin 2 shorts in a row. But it was honestly because Tuesday I was shooting a ton of stuff. And then Wednesday we were watching the movie and got, just hanging out with the wife and stuff. But There'll be new stuff coming soon. Anyway, let's get into the show. Sorry, I feel like I'm going this. At least I'm not like things are terrible. What's gonna happen? Oh my god. So that's good. That's, you know what? It feels a lot better than the dramatics of the previous week. All right. So this. Yeah, Creature of the Black Moon. I'm going to tell you, there's been so many of those in fucking development that I if they actually succeed, but I actually thought of doing a video of all the people who tried to make a Creature of the Black Lagoon remake and failed. I think Del Toro is the only one who even got it, and he had to do an unofficial one. So no one's successfully been able to do that. Maybe it's like Monster Squad and Del Toro. Monster Squad's cool though. All right. This and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through Super Chats during the show where I will drink this amazing Kim Cattrall energy drink, or of Mannequin and that one time I saw the two Mads at the Alamo Draft House. I think that's what she's famous for. But, or my Patreon, which has all sorts of cool stuff, like, which helps me do everything I do, from like equipment to flyers to putting films and screenings and everything like that. I didn't pay for this, but the other ones like help promote and help make the channel grow. However, and also I recently sent out postcards, which you get if you're $10 and up. You also got my commentary series, which a new one just came out recently. There's going to be a new one soon. You get updates. You get emails about whenever I send a new thing. It also helps me do everything. And it's wonderful if you are financially able to do so. If you have a super chat, I will drink this and go cheers, and it'll give me more energy. And it's been such a long day, so I'd really really appreciate it. So you keep this going. But yes, if you are of course financially able to do so, I very much appreciate it, and it helps the show move. And I will always answer your question if it is a super chat, because you're sending a boost and helping the channel grow and all those things. But if you cannot do so, liking and subscribing is a great way to show YouTube that you like the channel, as well as helps the channel grow and all those things. If you subscribe, you get all these community posts I do, throwbacks and all that stuff, and you know when I have videos, or if you turn on notifications if you would like to do that. So just to let you know. As well as I have a Discord, which is an amazing community. It's great. It has everything from general, where I ask them, what do you want me to talk about movie crap this week, to the Ask Jim section, to movie watches every week, to movie talk, to game talk, to self-promo, to everything, to actually, I don't think anyone, yeah, thank you, that's funny. You got the licensed playing card channel. You've got amazing, really cool stuff run very well by Austin and Zane Powers. I highly recommend it. If you like this community in the chat, you should go there and hang out. I don't know what movie they're watching this week. They're doing a movie watch pretty much every week, and they do a great job, and I highly recommend it. As well as we have the TikTok, the Instagram, the Twitter, the Tumblr, the Facebook fan page, all those below. I do want to do a Ko-fi thing, so if you want to do you're just watching it and you just want to send me a thing, I want to set that up. I will do that soon. I'm just kind of trying to make stuff and everything. Like, oh, you're watching Halloween specials, and they're watching The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. That's cool. I would like to watch that this year. Maybe I'll be reviewing some Halloween specials. I know I'm doing that this week with the one that came out today of Keep Away Camp, the latest or the newest SpongeBob. Okay. All right, cool. SpongeBob Halloween special. And there's some talk of the Krabby Patty. I'll talk about it maybe a little, but I will do a Krabby Patty thing. It'll be a separate thing. If I ate Wendy's on this, I would fall asleep. And we're trying to avoid that. If you're ever wondering, why does he have the energy drink? It is wholly because I get up very early, and I can only do this till it's very late. So it's more of a, it's almost a survival thing. Really, you're keeping me alive. Anyway, sorry. Today, the first story. I used to watch Voltron as a kid. I used to love watching that cartoon. There was a lady at a party my parents went to who told me she would send me all her kids' Voltron toys and wrote down my address and never did. But, and I'm not still bitter about that and remember it all these years later. Don't worry, I forgot it. Don't worry. But when I'd heard so many people, like Pharrell was going to do the music for one and all that stuff. But then, we always heard about it, never happened. But today we learned that Henry Cavill was cast in Voltron. I thought, finally, we're going to get this Voltron movie. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. And then I'm like, but who's directing? Who's creatively involved? Until I learned there was Rawson Marshall Thurber, who directed Red Notice, which is not good. I don't know, what else did he direct? I don't even know. I just know Red Notice is it isn't called, the episode is called Keep Away Camp. I thought it was. What is it called? Please let me know. Anyway, Red Notice, which was horrible. Like, legitimately one of the most boring movies. Like, I had trouble, like, staying awake during it. Oh, he directed Skyscraper, Central Intelligence, We're the Millers. Directed Dodgeball? Jesus, Mysteries of Pittsburgh. That one I've never heard of. What was going on between... Anyway, he's not really a director I want doing Voltron, to be honest with you. It's a really bad choice, and I honestly think the Henry Cavill thing was to throw you off, so you'd be like, oh, I'm excited, because if they knew this, you'd be like, what the fuck? No, I don't want that. And I don't. I'm really disappointed. I was like legitimately like, oh, Henry, that I could see that. I liked him in Mission Impossible and not much else. And it'll be great. And then, it was like, oh my God, fucking Red Notice. Are you fucking kidding me? I was like, why you that? Like, I fell asleep during it, which I wanted to fall asleep during because it was after Christmas movie. But then I kept falling asleep for it. Oh, it's Creepaway Camp. I'm so sorry. But anyway, Austin, the Super Chat said, which lion will Henry be? The red lion, the blue lion, the green lion, the yellow lion, black lion? Also, he's in the rescue. He in the Rescue Rangers movie is a Voltron vendor. Is that true? I forgot about that. That's cool. That's a good coincidence. Cheers to you again, Austin. Thank you for the Super Chats tonight. It is a live action movie. It's Creepaway Camp. Makes so much more sense. I don't know why I thought it was Keepaway Camp. Thank you for correcting me. Anyway, it sounds horrible. I'm super disappointed. I don't know what Netflix is doing. Like, this just seems like no one would do it. And they just did what, who would do it? You know what I mean? They were like, who could we get to do it? He's just such a bad director. Like, he's not interesting. None of the shots were interesting. It was just so bad. He's just such a bad director. I just was so super disappointed to find out he's doing it. I think you need somebody who has imagination and fun. I don't actually know who you could. Probably. What's his name? From Kubo and the Two Strings. The likey guy who did Bumblebee. He would actually be a good choice. But Sinram said, your recent video about the Simpsons series finale, is it really done and dusted? No. Well, basically, it's about the Simpsons episode is about the Simpsons series finale. Like, that's the whole premise of it. So I'm not lying. It's still going, but this is the second time they like to make series finales for whatever reason. Anyway, cheers to you, Sidran. Adam Wingard would be good. I was thinking, who's the guy? Whatever his name is. Who runs Leica. Sorry. Travis Knight. I think he would be good. But cheers to you, Sidran. Thank you very much. I think the Simpsons is just like, in case somebody dies, they'll just keep making series finales. That's what I think they're doing. That's honestly what I think they're doing. So, all right. Yeah, I think Travis Knight or Del Toro, like, duh, but whatever. He's not going to do it. Travis, or I wouldn't even mind the guy who did Transformers. I'm just throwing out people I think of. Stephen Cable Jr., who did the recent live action Transformers. I think he would be good also, but I like that guy is just like ugh, really, really terrible. I mean, I'm sure there's probably other people. From what I saw of Transformers 1, I would say that guy also, but we'll see. What is Robert Rodriguez doing? That's a good point, Jordan Salafalo. I wouldn't mind him doing it. All right. So we learned that everyone's favorite, I guess, sort of favorite, Pacific Rim visiting. No, everyone's least favorite Scooby-Doo spin-off Velma has been canceled after 2 seasons. I'm not really surprised because I don't know anyone who liked it, and I do know I've talked to other people who will just like watch a spin-off of something, even they were like not it, which is not a good sign when you can't get the people who will literally watch paint dry on the Millennium Falcon and they're like, I don't know, man, it's just like not my thing. It really does not bode well. I'm not really surprised. I know people were saying like we shouldn't be celebrating when a show gets canceled because people are out of work and things like that. I agree to a degree, but I think that goes against like how these things ultimately work because the reaction to these things is we'll make them go, okay, we'll go in this direction with Scooby-Doo. We'll do this, we'll do that. And I just don't think... to me, it's like I don't think anyone is actually mad at the people who did backgrounds on Velma or something. They're more just like they didn't like the show, and that's not the background person's problem. Like we're not going after the people who did lip sync on it. But I do think it wasn't really a show anyone particularly liked. I think it was kind of a thing like that. Robotech and Battle of the Planets films in production too. Oh, that's true. I forgot about the Robotech, but Battle of the Planets, wasn't that the Russo brothers? Anyway, thank you, John Barton, for your super chat. Cheers to you. Thank you very much. The ending of the Halloween was it? I didn't. Man, maybe during the break I'll see if I missed something there. I don't know about that. Anyway, I just felt that, it was a show I think most people didn't want around, didn't particularly like, and it got canceled. But the thing with Scooby-Doo is there's always new reboots of Scooby-Doo. There's like so many different versions of it. Like that's kind of like part of the whole property, So I kind of am like, okay, but they'll do another one that we'll either like or not like. Most of the time they're kind of meh. You have your exceptions like 13, like, there's the original, there's 13 Ghosts, there's Mystery Incorporated. What's New Scooby-Doo, I think, with the Simple Plan one, I think that's a favorite of people's. But like there's a lot of ones in between that, I mean, unless somebody wants to speak up on them, most people just don't really care about. So I don't think it is a big deal because it's like when is the next one happening? There's probably already in development. We're probably always going to have a Scooby-Doo in development forever and always. So it's a little like, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't think it was a great idea ever. So I don't think it really worked. With that, I don't know. It could have worked, but it's like you kind of need the whole crew and like not focus on. You have the talking dog, and it's sort of an all-encompassing. Like I agree with the what is it? The famous Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr. meme because it is sort of like it's a sort of a show for everybody because it's like you have boys and girls, and you have various people you can associate with, and it's also a show with the talking dog. Come on, man, it's the talking dog. Come on. So I do think it's like taking one or two characters or focusing on one character who's not Scooby sort of doesn't really make a lot of sense if you really think about the property. Now, I get that there's so many different versions. You're like, hey, why not? Because, wait, what just happened? Why? Okay, sorry about that. That was weird. Sort of lost it there. Okay, we're back. That's odd. But it just I don't know. I was never like hating on it or anything. I didn't really. I watched the little I watched. I was unimpressed with, but that's sort of how Scooby Doo is. It's just always being remade, but I think you kind of need that core group. You can do an episode, but the show I don't never really thought that was a good idea. You know, I don't want a Fred show or a Velma show or any of those guys. So I just don't. I don't know. But you can do Scooby because he's a talking dog, and the talking dogs are funny. So why would you not? Anyway, I mean, there's not much to say except like it's over, so we don't have to deal with it anymore. We don't have to hear about it. We don't have to be people hating it. We don't have to have people liking it. We just don't have to hear about it ever again for a while. Or I'm sure somebody will come and reappraise it at some point, like we do with sort of everything nowadays, it seems like. But all right, what are we going to talk about next? So I think everyone, I had heard about this and I wasn't surprised to learn this, but Al Pacino came out recently and said that he did Jack and Jill or Dunkachino because he just needed the money at the time. This is not super surprising. I mean, it's kind of funny because they make a joke out of that. It's kind of like part of the joke of the movie. But I still don't hate that he did it. I think it's like kind of a funny. It's always fun when people have these like weird spots in their filmography, and I think. Yeah, I know people don't like things go. You're right, but I think Dunkachino, like I was like, yeah, you're right. People don't let things go, and I'm like, anyway, Dunkachino. But I don't know. Al Pacino was giving an interesting interview where he's like, there is no afterlife because I died for a little bit and I didn't see anything. I'm like, Al Pacino, oh my god, you're you're a lot, bro. But I don't know. I think it's cool that he admitted that, but it totally makes sense. But I think like we don't think of our like great artists as people like we just assume they're always fine. And I think it's sad that Al Pacino needed money at that point in his career, but I think it's sort of like how it is. But I mean, he doesn't really get cast in a ton of different stuff, Although he did fuck up Despicable Me too. As much as they're like, oh, he needed the money, he did like ruin that opportunity. So I don't know, but he, I think it sort of worked out. If you're gonna need money and do an embarrassing role, and we're still like laughing about it and having fun with it, like because I sort of liked Dunkachino. It was considered like a major flub at the time, but now it's like this huge meme and stuff. I think that sort of worked out for him. Like how many people is Dean Cundy shot Jack and Jill? I probably said that in a and I forgot about. Wow, the guy who shot Halloween. Man, why? I always heard rumors that so Dean Cundy shot the opening of Halloween. He used to work with Carpenter a lot, and then he shot Back to the Future and even shot Jurassic Park as well. And I always heard, because after Jurassic Park, when Spielberg made Schindler's List, that's when he hooked up with his DP who's had pretty much in every movie since, which I sort of don't like at this point. But I always heard that Dean Cundy would like question Spielberg and like major directors, and that's why like he kind of like has this fall off. I don't know that to be true. I've heard that rumor forever. And I always thought it was kind of sucked because he's a really good DP, and it like I think he shot Camp Rock or something. Like fucking sucks. Like he's Dean Cundy. Like that opening to Halloween is one of the greatest. Like and he shot Jurassic Park and he shot Escape from New York and the opening in the fog. Are you kidding me? That's an amazing thing. And anyway, if I was Spielberg, Dean Cundy would have shot all those other movies. but like, come on, how much better would have Lost World or like AI or I don't know. I don't get it. But Dean Cundy, like one of the great DPs of all time, like that opening shot of Halloween, like that tracking shot. I know it's actually not one shot, But there's I can if I was watching it with you, I could show you where it is. But yeah. Anyway, sorry, one of my Dean Cundy rant there. But you know what? I think it's cool that that's why. Sorry, that's why Al Pacino did that. I think it's fitting. It's fitting. What if he was like, it's either I did it for art or I did it for money. He didn't do it. He was like, you know what? I just show up for crap. You know, like Richard Kind did an interview. He's like, I pretty much do anything that's offered to me. I just like making stuff and working, which is like, I respect that, to be honest with you. I used to think that was dumb. And I'm like, I kind of respect it, to be for real. But I kind of like that. I think that's kind of neat. But I like that it was one or the other. I think there's no other way you could do it. But I'm glad it's the sort of funnier one. I'm sure although it is funny, is like, I just did it for money. And anyway. All right. So we have a few quick things. One is, there's a lot of talk about the Golden Globes, which are not a great award show, but it was announced. And I noticed like nobody seemed to care, but I was like, oh, actually, someone I want to see host, Nikki Glazer is going to host the Golden Globes. I'm not a huge fan of her, but I've liked her when I've seen her on talk shows and stuff. She seems like a good personality. And I think that's a good choice, to be honest. Like an up and coming comedian like that who needs a higher profile. I think she could be really funny. So I was like, I'm actually okay with that. So we'll see. There's also like, I'm never gonna. I might put a jokey thing about it, but all these people get upset with like the term category fraud when a movie like slips into a category it shouldn't, and like I guess Challengers is a big thing. I was like, it's the Golden Globes. Like I don't fucking care if the Golden Globes. To me, it's like if Hundreds of Beavers is not nominated in musical or comedy, I mean that's like a great comedy. So how could you not nominate that? If that's not nominated, then the whole award is fraudulent. They should just cancel it forever. But it should best musical comedy. Really, it should just be Hundreds of Beavers, People's Joker, and just like whatever you need to fill out that category. I don't fucking care. But like it's got to be those two. But I do think it's definitely Lost in Translation won for best comedy. It won for best comedy because best drama was I think it wasn't the year of Return of the King. I think that made, I don't know, their best musical comedy category is sort of dumb, but I hate when people get all up in arms like this is category fraud. I'm like, dude, like what does this, unless you're running an award show like podcast or Twitter, and I never see those people do it. I always see like these random get upset about it. I'm like, the Golden Globes are kind of dumb though. I don't know. The only thing that's interesting about the Golden Globes, I'll tell you this, is before they had a best animated feature category, animated films would win best musical or comedy. And so it actually hurt animated films to have that category at the Golden Globes. It ruined it for them. So anyway, I don't think Hundreds of Beavers will probably get nominated, but so in sort of big, this is big news to me, to be honest, is that Riff Tracks has signed a deal with Nebula and will start releasing things through Nebula. I think this makes sense. They had a lot of problems with YouTube recently. I'm hoping, because Nebula did this deal with Riff Tracks, that they'll figure out something with Mystery Science Theater, and something's going to happen with that, because we really haven't heard anything from that show. I kind of want to make a video of around Thanksgiving about like what they should do at this point. I don't know. But anyway, I'm happy for Riff Tracks. Honestly, I've been thinking more about maybe I should figure out the Nebula thing and get a subscription and stuff. I don't think they have any offices in New York. I'd love to work for them too, but that's a whole other thing. But I do think, I have looked, but I do think this is a good deal for Riff Tracks. I think they deserve it. I think it's hard for commentary things like them to get a kind of more solid ground, because I know they have stuff like Taken Down and all that stuff. But hey, congrats to Riff Tracks for signing with Nebula. I think it was a great thing for Nebula. I think it was a great thing for Riff Tracks as well. So I think that definitely works out. I was like, awesome. That's just, I'm happy for that. And it makes me think better of Nebula, because that's not necessarily Riff Tracks is not as cool as it used to be, not as big, but it's still like got a solid fan base. And like if they're signing people like that, I'm like, okay, I think that's pretty cool, to be honest with you. And this is just a quick thing. I know I was just proclaiming Hundreds of Beavers, and maybe I'll put a link to it on Tubi somewhere. But I do think, but it is on Tubi. Tommy Tubi came through and figured out of all the streaming services, Tubi has Hundreds of Beavers. So you have no excuse. It is for free. It is for free on Tubi. So if you want to watch Hundreds of Beavers, now is the time, baby. Check it out on Tubi. Tubi, I mean, this makes it the best streaming service in my mind. You have all this other stuff. We might watch the first King Ghidorah movie on Tubi this weekend, but we'll see. But they have so many good stuff and Hundreds of Beavers. It's just like amazing. So I'm going to talk about the box office early because it was in the thumbnail, and this was a bomb for the fucking ages. Let's just say that this is epic in a way that I don't think anyone could have seen coming. So Joker, Folly, Deuce, whatever, completely flopped at the box office. This film, which cost $200 million, made 37 in America, or the domestic box office. It was a complete disaster. It's made about 120 worldwide, which is not amazing. They censor old films? I've actually not encountered that when I've seen older films, but that sucks. I've heard they do weird cropping and stuff. I didn't know that, William Ullman. Thank you for mentioning it. Yes, this is an epic bomb. I mean, there's like no other way to talk about it. Part of the reason, and I looked up, this is not good for anyone. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, what does this say about DC?" It is not a DC film. It's a Warner Brothers film. It's not a DC thing. Although Todd Phillips did ignore James Gunn and Peter Safran and any notes anyone from DC had about the Joker, because it's not really about the Joker, which is something that's in the original. He's been saying since the original. It's not really the Joker. It's someone who could have inspired the Joker, which is like, why is it called Joker then? Why would you call it that? I don't understand. Doesn't make any sense. But yes, this has long been a Warner Brothers film, not a DC film. But it doesn't speak well to how comic movies have changed since the high days of the late 2010s, where like films were just hitting. Aquaman hit $1 billion, Captain Marvel hit $1 billion, Joker hit $1 billion, and all of their sequels flatlined tremendously. I think in the case of at least Aquaman, I think people were just seeing every one they could. The economy was doing a lot better. People were just like, oh, it's a new one. Sure, I like seeing these things in theaters. More people went to theaters, things like that. Like the Marvels, I think I don't know I think that one is probably one of the ones that'll do better with age, because I've heard kids mention it and stuff like that. So I don't think that one's as over as people suggest it is. But with this, since it was a huge departure, since the original had sort of taken on much more of a toxic reputation, and maybe somebody saw Kings of Comedy and went, wait a minute, this is not that good. I think it's just there's no way this is good at all. Todd Phillips made $20 million, Joaquin Phoenix made $20 million, and Lady Gaga made 12. They kept it in LA because they refused to move anywhere else, which added to the cost of this like $200 million musical. I mean, this is, even though Warner's had a huge hit this year with Beetlejuice, this sort of like erases all of that because it is such a disaster of a bomb. I think, you look at someone like Todd Phillips, and I have not seen the second Joker, but I think I would say he's sort of done after this. I don't think I don't think creatively I can see another studio doing this because of his insistences. And I know for a long time he's wanted to be, more serious filmmaker, things like that. But I think like the problem with him is he doesn't really think out what he's doing. And I also think people, because he made like a G.G. Allen documentary a long time ago, and I always heard people like proclaiming like, well, he made this critical thing about frats, this documentary. He made this G.G. Allen thing, but I always think with him is like I watch like The Hangover 2 for that 2011 ranking video, which I hopefully will edit at some point, and it's like he'll have one cool idea in it that I genuinely like, and I feel like he has an idea, like a one point that I like, but the whole movie has like sort of ugly morals, and it's shitty, and like doesn't really say anything. You're just going through the motions, and you can tell he hasn't seen that many movies. He's the worst. And on that moment, William Ellman has a super chat that said, Todd Phillips, pretty much all the same mistakes he did making Hangover 2. He just remade New York, New York, but worse. Oh, wow. Wow. You did that better than me, William Ellman. Cheers to you. Supposedly, they wanted to do test screenings. They couldn't because of Todd Phillips' deal, which I understand he is with Warner's, and I'm not trying to say artistically I agree with this, but because he's made a lot of hits for them, and he gave them $1 billion movie that got Oscar nominations and won Best Actor, he was able to have final cut. So when they screened it, it was sort of like, I guess this is what we're releasing. They couldn't do test screenings, and they even didn't want to do the Venice Film Festival premiere, and they had to contractually. So I don't think it's like a punk rock thing, and as much as we hear about Todd Phillips and he'll say like, oh, well, I need that $200 million. Think of all the people I gave jobs to, which is what he's saying. He's like so anti-union, by the way. He is so against the guilds. Like he's a real shitty rich dude who hung out on his ranch to avoid criticism of his Joker movie that he made $20 million up front for. So I do not think this punk rock idea of this movie is some real bullshit. Like he's not. He made a thing that bombed tremendously. He has more akin to, a bloated genre, reaping the rewards of a bloated genre than he did like being a crazy cool auteur or something like that. I've never thought he's that interesting. I think people give him way too much faith for someone who like, what is the movie? What is his grand masterpiece? Like Old School? Like that's not even that good of a. Everyone likes Anchorman. I think he wants to be. Who's the guy? Sorry, I'm like. I could describe his whole filmography. Who directed Anchorman? Sorry about this. Adam McKay. I think for a long time he's wanted to be Adam McKay. And he wanted to be like War Dog, whatever the one with Jonah Hill and Miles Teller. He clearly wanted to make more serious stuff, but I think, although Adam McKay, Todd Phillips' Joker is his punk rock is the Cruella movie with Emma Stone. Ouch. Yeah, he's just. I think Adam McKay at least had. I don't love his opinions all the time, really ever, but not, maybe we agree in the voting booth to a degree, but I don't think I love his opinions. But I don't think Todd Phillips has interesting opinions. I think he just, he has a germ of an idea, and he does it, and but I agree with everyone who says he's a hack. I think he's a hack. I think most of it, he tried to make the Hangover franchise more interesting as it went on, but I don't think he ultimately did, because when you talk about those movies, you talk about the first movie, he just makes like he makes drunk frat bullshit, and that's what he does. He's not the cool G.G. Allen guy. I'm sorry. Maybe he was at one time, but I've never seen that guy's movies, so. I don't think he was disgusted. I kind of refuse to believe that. I think him and his whole, like, because he's like pretty conservative. He's always like, oh, you can't make comedies like that anymore. I was like, but did you like try though? Like, I just don't. I don't know. Adam McKay says the similar stuff, but like, I don't like any of his newer movies. Like Anchorman, I still like get a smile thinking about the first one, but anyway, hated Gigi Allen and Murder Junkies is technically probably Todd's best movie. I like William Evans. Technically, probably, like, that's such a give up. Like, I mean, like, probably technically it's his best. Like that. Cheers to you, man. I like that. I mean, I guess by default. That guy sucks. I just can't. Anyway, cheers to you. What I was thinking, though, I'm going to be honest, or not that I'm ever not. I don't know why I say that, to be honest. Is that the thing that sinks is I actually like Joaquin Phoenix a lot as an actor, like with The Master and Her, and like, you know, he's done some really great performances over the years, and I feel like this whole movie, between the Todd Haynes thing and the Joker stuff, has really ruined him for me. To be honest, like, I really don't like what he has become recently. And at first I thought, well, he's getting all this money, but he never really makes money doing these weird art movies, so maybe this will help those. But like, I just don't. I don't know. I hope Joaquin does another interesting, cool movie again, but it doesn't feel that way with this stuff. But I will see Joker 2 eventually. I'm not sure. There's other stuff I want to watch, but it's more about the showtimes with me. But anyway, let's talk about the rest of the box office. The Wild Robot, which I did see, is doing actually really great. It's crossed $100 million. Actually, I think the Joker has actually made more than it worldwide, but it cost a hell of a lot less. It cost about $60 to $70 million. One thing people aren't talking about, it is the last DreamWorks movie to be made in-house. They're going to outsource after this movie. So, but anyway, The Wild Robot continues to do well. It's actually beating Joker 2. They have daily box office that's been beating Joker Folly Dukes or whatever, or Joker Dookies. We'll just call it that, consistently. So, I think it's because the word of mouth is strong and all of that. So, we have Austin. Thank you for the generous super chat, Austin. He says, off topic, but been going through all the live action Transformers in 3. Alan Tudyk plays the same character in 28 Days, the movie with Sandra Bullock, and is now Optimus Prime in that new cartoon. Oh, my kids have been watching that cartoon. They like that cartoon, actually. Didn't know that. He plays the same character in the movie about addiction? Is that movie? Okay. That's weird, but okay. I didn't know he did Optimus Prime, the new cartoon. That's interesting. I haven't really, it's usually in the morning and I'm like making food or a little sleepy on the couch. I've never actually watched it. It seems like it's like a kid, it's like a modern kid show. It's like fine, but cheers to you, Austin. Thank you. That's very generous of you. Movie about addiction? Whoa, dude. I don't understand. That's so weird. In other box office news, we have Transformers 1 is sort of not doing great. It's at $47 million. A lot of box office people are saying we need to give Transformers franchise a break. Beetlejuice still made $10 million. It's how many weeks is this? 5th week at the box office. That's incredible for this time of year. Really, like, that's amazing. So I really got to give it to Beetlejuice, or at least financially. Speak No Evil is actually doing well over time, getting up to $32 million. We have this one movie, and I don't know what it is. I'm going to click on it now, called Sam and Colby, The Legends of the Paranormal, and it was actually only released in AMC theaters. It did really well. It made about $1.7 million, but only playing in 302 theaters, and made it onto the box office. Is about paranormal investigators Sam and Colby have hunted ghosts at the world's most iconic haunted locations. Now they set to investigate a mysterious desert ranch famous for ghost UFOs and terrifying monsters lurking in the dark. I have no clue what this is. Is it a YouTube thing? It sort of looks like it from the poster or something. But either way, it's sort of at least release-wise, sort of a success, even if it is not whatever it is. I will give them credit for that, because they got in the box office with 302 theaters. Their per-screen average is actually higher than... it would be higher than The Wild Robot, which is insane. Deadpool and Wolverine now tied with Inside Out 2 for being in the top 10 the longest of any film in 2024, so congrats to that. White Bird, which you probably didn't know was coming out. I think it's a prequel sort of another movie I didn't see, so if you did see that movie, cool. The Substance actually came back, but lost screens and didn't fall off the top 10, which is amazing. And Megalopolis fell off 73%, which is not surprising. And My Old Ass is doing well. The movie, not my old... sorry, that was stupid. Okay, and as we always do, what is at the bottom of the box office? I know I keep doing, called The Red Rooms. A model becomes obsessed with a high-profile murder trial. There we go. I'm not depressed this time. Talking about that. And Basquiat, towards the end of the box office, if you didn't know this, there's a black and white re-release of Basquiat or something. So if you've never seen Basquiat, although I think Jeffrey Wright, I've heard him say in interviews, is not a big fan of that movie, despite that he is fucking in it. So... if you, it's decent. But anyway, so we'll talk about, now I'm going to talk about Star Wars. Sort of some things with Star Wars is The Mandalorian, what's going on with Mandalorian and Grogu, which is the name of the movie. Supposedly, it's sort of doing the same thing that happened with Moana and Moana 2, where, I'm glad you're asking, thank you, Austin, where they took something that was going to be a show and realized, hey, we can make a lot of money with this. We released it in theaters. So instead of shows that feel like they were supposed to be movies, now we're getting movies that should have been shows. So progress, I guess. However, Giancarlo Esposito, there's a way to say his name I learned recently that is not what you think it is. And Dan Murrell, I think, was like, no, that's how you're supposed to say it, and showed a clip of him saying it the correct. Anyway, I think I'm saying it wrong actually, but it was actually sort of interesting. I used to do that more when I do the reviews. Is I'd find an interview with the actor where the presenter says their name. That's how I know it's pronounced Jan Gottfried actually. So anyway, there is a different way to pronounce it. I don't think I did it right, but Mandalorian, supposedly he said at a fan convention that it was planning on Mandalorian Grogu being a trilogy of movies. There keeps being this thing that they're all going to combine to make a Avengers Star Wars movie or something. But I'm sort of like, how is that going to be better than the end of like the second season where Luke shows up and you have all those people there? Like, are you going to, to me it's like, just make a good story. I don't understand this. People keep saying this Avengers Star Wars thing. It's like always reported that way. But I'm like, I don't understand what the fuck that even means. Like whatever. It sounds to me like I know a guy talking about Star Wars, complaining about it or something, but I think what they realize is whatever's going on with Star Wars, and there's all this doubt of like, is the Rey movie, what's going on with that, and what's going on with the James Mangold after he's done with Bob Dylan and stuff. What is he gonna do his Star Wars movie and all this stuff? But I think what they realize is, and I noticed this recently, how many times when you watch a video like of someone on TikTok or YouTube, there's like a Baby Yoda somewhere. Like everybody has a Baby Yoda. It is the biggest Star Wars original IP thing that has been made since Disney bought it. And so it makes total sense to like really go into it. But like, I don't know if like, it's been around for a while, so I don't know, it makes sense. But a trilogy and this Avengers thing, that seems super odd to me. So I'm sort of iffy on that. And I think maybe he was talking out of turn, or maybe some executive told him that. But we'll see. It seemed a little odd to me, but it seems like they're leaning heavy into it. Makes total sense, but I don't. Maybe there won't be a season 4 after all, because people are saying they'll go back to season 4 after the movie. I sort of am getting the vibe that potentially wouldn't happen, but we'll see what happens after this movie comes out. Jordan Bouchard says, do you believe WB saved money advertising Joker 2 less? Probably not, because I bet you contractually they have to do a certain spend, but there was a lot of ads. I did notice they weren't going as crazy like what they did with like Barbie, for example, which I think was cheaper than Joker 2. So maybe they did save some money. I don't know what the original spend at, but they might have a contractual, like how I talked about the contractual Oscar nomination thing. I think there's the same thing with ad spends. So they might have had to do an ad spend to a certain degree, but I did notice it wasn't as aggressive as the first Joker. So maybe they sort of caught on, but we'll see. They probably did. That's a good point. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you for the super chat. New Focus said, dang, the spirit of Eisner really won't leave Disney. That is true. I was thinking about that when I was watching I used a video I'm working on. I was thinking about the Eisner thing. I think he was not as bad. I agree with I forget the theme park YouTuber guy who's mentioned that he's maybe not as bad as we all thought. I think Iger might have been worse, other than fucking up. I think the real thing that ruined Eisner was fucking with Pixar. That was the dumbest movie ever made. But he was more into innovation than people give him credit for. But anyway, cheers to you, Nathaniel Folk. Always like that you're here. Thank you. To Funkland, thank you. I think how my brain works is I'll forget someone's name, but I could have described 10 videos to you. So does that make sense? No. But that's how it works. Alright, so some DC movies that were announced, or sort of 3, but mostly 2, to be honest with you. There is a live-action Teen Titans movie that's going to be sort of directed or creatively spearheaded by the director, by the person who wrote or whatever, the Supergirl movie that we haven't seen, so that sounds like okay. We can move on for that because there's not as much known. The other one that is a little more exciting, I'm getting to the one I'm more excited about at the end, is a Bane and Deathstroke movie. It's supposedly not connected to the Batman and Penguin, which has opened up a ton of speculation. Sorry, I realized I forgot something. A ton of speculation over who is going to be the Batman in this, what will be the Batman in this, who would they cast as the Batman. A lot of people are saying they're just going to make Pattinson's universe part of the DC thing, which I think is honestly like, just do that at this point. Like, a lot of people have questioned the two Batmans thing, and I think there hasn't really been a lot of movement on Batman Brave and the Bold, as a lot of people have been reporting, and this is the most we've gotten is these two Batman project, this one and the next one. So we're not sure, but a Bane and Deathstroke movie sounds like just something they're developing. They announced. A lot of people think this announcement was to get ahead of Joker 2, because Joker 2 was going to bomb, hurt the DC brand. We probably won't see a Superman trailer. I'm going to assume around Christmas. I think it would be stupid to wait till like first Avenger or first whatever the Captain America movie is. I think it would be dumb to do that. But the one that actually sounds interesting, and I guess is a bit of a sounds to me like a bit of a Spider-Verse ripoff, but maybe in a good way, is the dynamic duo movie with Dick Grayson and Jason Todd sort of going into their origin stories, and it'd be animated by this place called Swaybox, who does sort of like, it's animation, but it's sort of like a CGI puppet animation thing. I recommend looking up their reel. It's sort of hard to describe, but it's sort of photorealistic puppet thing, and they sort of want to do that with Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. That legitimately sounds interesting, and it's probably one of the most interesting DC things I've heard announced lately. That to me, sounds really cool. I'm like into that. Like, let's make this weird, different sort of movie. People have said the Spider-Verse thing. I think just because it's animated and it's superhero thing, but like two Robins and Jason Todd and Dick Grayson are very different characters. Jason Todd was a really interesting character for me growing up because I do have a certain fondness for him, but I also thought he was a total piece of crap. Like, he is real crazy, and like, I'm not saying I wanted him to get beat up by the Joker or something, but it though that was a big comic for me as a kid. I wasn't a kid when it came out, but I had sort of a weird 80s nostalgia in the early 90s because the 80s stuff was cheap in the dollar bin, so I was like super into a lot of 80s comics when I was like 8. But I just think it is a really interesting idea, and those two are very different kind of characters. So even if it wasn't animated, it's a good idea storytelling wise. I think it'll be cool in a different animation style. I like that we're doing interesting animated superhero films because I do think animation and superhero stuff works better than live action. Like, we could just stop with the live action shit. Like, we could just like stop it. Like, it's like, I get it. It's like, we saw them in live action. We're sort of, we've done it a lot. But if it was an animation, you can do all the weird Spider-Verse stuff. So I'm hoping, I would like to see more of these announced. I'm surprised this is the first like Spider-Verse adjacent thing we've heard from any superhero studio. This is the first one. And you know what? Rip off Spider-Verse all you want. I'm fine with a subpar Spider-Verse. I say that now, but we'll see. Anyway, William Ellman said, why would anyone be threatened, of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker? He's like 85 pounds and only eats plants. I agree. Well, he's not intimidating, and he's not the Joker. What was that? There was a meme of the Joker poster, and it's like, it's just some guy, I don't know. Like, I thought that was really funny. Because he's maintained that. He's like, he's not really the Joker. He's who inspires the Joker. And I'm like, then why is it called the Joker? Like, I don't... Or like, why call it that? Fucking idiots. Like, I hate people who... I knew so many kids in like film school. It's like, no, when you adapt something, you take it on yourself. Like, dealing with the Sin City adaptation in film school was... I was like, no, it's like an experimental, interesting idea of how you could do comic books. It's really interesting. And instead of thinking how interesting that is, they're like, no, that's not how you adapt something. I'm like, but... Trust me, he has very much the film school idea of like, let your imagination flow and like reimagine something. And I'm like, yeah, I guess, but it sounds like it sounds like you just don't want to actually do a little bit of research and know what you're doing. And that doesn't mean you're cool. That just means you're fucking lazy. And it comes off that way. Anyway, cheers to you, William Owens. That was William Owens firing all cylinders with these tonight. Cheers to you. Yeah, okay. Jordan Slavo, Joaquin Phoenix doesn't sound inspiring to other Joker. What I do think is interesting about Joker, and I don't blame Nolan and Heath Ledger because they're going in a different direction, but Joker is like a criminal mastermind. It's like, he's not just like crazy insane dude. I mean, he is, but also a criminal mastermind. And I think like when he did that, like, I'm just gonna burn money just because I can. The Joker in the comics I read as a kid, like in Death in the Family, I think they literally go, how can we afford to go overseas? And go, oh, remember that job I did like 10 issues ago? Well, I saved that money and we're using that to do this. And he would do that all the time. And I never understood. I always thought that was actually cool. Like, so many times in media, you never hear about money, Oh man, I'm sort of going on a bit. So I guess we're going till 12:40 about. So I guess... Anyway, said, Jordan said Transformers by Armin. I'm behind, but imagine. Transformers by Armin would be amazing. I'm curious about that Over the Garden Wall short that's going to come out. What's weird is, why have Over the Garden Wall post Halloween? I thought that was interesting. It's like, I've noticed a few people are like picking their Over the Garden Wall time. So, cheers to you, Jordan Bouchard. Cheers to you. So the new Christopher Nolan movie was announced. It's coming out July 17th, 2026, because Christopher Nolan likes releasing things then. I mean, why not? That's a great release date. Matt Damon is in talks to star. Universal Pictures. He's continuing to work with Universal Pictures, which, to be honest, I think they won him an Oscar. They were much cooler about the distribution thing. I don't think him and Zaslav will get along. Makes total sense. It's going to be an IMAX. Filming begins early next year. There's a rumor it's going to be about a father and son thing. I think this is maybe a little too like direct for Nolan, to be honest with you. Like, it's like, to me, it's like the cast of like ultimate dad movie casting, like Christopher Nolan and the guy from Bourne, like the guy, kind of guys who like both are probably really excited. I like Matt Damon. I actually think this is, if you ever, I researched Matt Damon for something I was working on, and almost everyone I know who worked on that project liked him. Never research him, because you'll end up thinking he does repeat himself a lot, and he's not as interesting as you think he is. And I had to research him and Ben Affleck for another thing. And as much as people think Matt Damon's smarter, he is not. Ben Affleck is the more interesting one. I think Ben Affleck would do it more, like, think of his performance in Gone Girl. I think Ben Affleck sort of challenges himself more. So I would have preferred him, but whatever. It just feels a little direct. I know there's that thing, like, who would you get? Oh, hey, Zane Powers, how's it going? Who would you get instead, or who should work with Nolan? I think, like, my first choice would be Denzel Washington. I think that should have happened by now. I think that would be really interesting, and I think the intensity that Denzel could bring with the Nolan stuff could be really cool. I think someone like Lakeith Stanfield as well, who's sort of like a loose cannon in a lot of cases, I would say that would be really interesting. I think someone as big as Jennifer Lawrence would be cool. I think DiCaprio would be cool to have come back. I think he would be really good at a father-son thing. I'm trying to think. There's probably like, I don't know if Jude Law has done one. I think he would be interesting. Ethan Hawke would be interesting. Obviously, like Tom Cruise, I think would have a lot of fun with that. But Nicole Kidman as well. Just because not because I said Tom Cruise, because of the Baby Girl trailer. I'd have to think about everyone who I would want to do that, but I do think there's a lot of people he could do when it just feels a little obvious to me. That's all. It feels a little obvious. I think they could do. Oh, thank you, Nathaniel Foggy. Jim Carrey would be. They were going to work together, actually. That brings up so Jim Carrey was going to be Howard Hughes in Christopher Nolan's Howard Hughes movie, and then they heard The Aviator was happening. Yeah, I'm with Jim Carrey would be really good. Jim Carrey's my top pick now. Thank you, Nathaniel Foggy. This is why I like you guys. You always come up with like cool ideas, right? But that was like a real thing that was going to happen, and then didn't. And yeah. Anyway, two things. Will Smith announced he's going to be in the next Michael Bay movie. It's sort of like this film where he wakes up, he has no memory, and he's like a criminal mastermind who also has a family, and he sort of, as he's lost memory, has to decide which life he wants to live, which sounds interesting. I didn't know about, I think I watched Six Underground while I wrapped presents and didn't make it through, but I found out about the Six Underground magnet scene. Look that up. That is really cool. I just remember Six Underground being a mess. Ambulance was great, but Six Underground, whoa, I could not. But that magnet scene, legitimately great action scene. I was like, whoa, I missed this. This is cool. But almost everyone who saw it was like, no, that movie sucked. But the magnet scene, look it up. I'm serious. Like, if you're like, would like a good action sequence, yeah. Yeah. Is that it? No, the Jim Carrey thing is in the Christopher Nolan was almost it. I don't know if I'll do it, maybe around Sonic 3 I'll do it. Jim Carrey was almost it. Oh my gosh, I forgot to mention this. So YouTube Shorts, I don't know if you heard, are increasing. So it's not just a minute anymore. It's going to be 3 to 5 minutes. So you guys might start to see the Almost Ins be longer, because the only reason they're the length they are is because of YouTube. So they might be longer, but the Joaquin Phoenix thing is just going to be the regular one. But so it might be longer going forward, but we'll see. And some of the compilations, I guess, will become just longer shorts and stuff. We'll see, but just be patient. It's just something I'm going to figure out as it goes. But I think that starts like next week. So, Christopher Nolan's parents were suppressive people, aka doctors. So I doubt Chris would work with them, aka doctors. Yeah, that sort of sucks. I think you would. I don't know. You kind of have to go with a mainstream person. Like I can't think of someone. Like I'd like Vera Drake to work with him. I'd like somebody who could either increase their profile or do something interesting. But that's who you think of. But I still think I know John David Washington worked with him, but like Denzel would do. I don't know. I have a lot of faith in Denzel. I think he's like a good actor. I don't know. Cheers to you, William. Thank you for listening to Reach tonight. Variety had 100 best horror movies. I thought it was okay. I didn't really, to me it's like if Halloween's not in the top 10. If Halloween's not in the top 10, I don't care that much. I think that was kind of dumb to do. Texas Chainsaw is an all-timer. I don't really mind that being number one. I thought they did some interesting stuff, but I thought they kind of like, they do what a lot of top 100s do, and they like malign a few classics. They're just like, let's put them in there. We put them in there, so you guys should be happy. Am I right? And like, it felt like there was a lot of that going on. But like Halloween, to me, Halloween's a top 5. It's not a top whatever stupid thing it is. So I did read the Variety article that everyone's talking about toxic fandom and how it was a toxic fandom and how Hollywood is battling fans who are just out for blood, I guess is the subtitle. I almost forgot something. I'll get back to it. One DC thing. Sorry about that. I read it, and there's two minds I have about this, which is that yes, I think you can pull anyone for focus groups. That's fine in terms of advertising purposes. But in terms of like changing a movie, I'm a little less for that. I know there's examples of that being a good thing, but I think there's less examples of it being a bad thing, particularly the Fatal Attraction ending was changed because of focus group. Them appealing to toxic fans, it seemed like they just meet with them and see sort of like what the damage is. The fact that they're taking over Star's social media because of that, I think is a little silly. But I understand it. But it does feel like it's something they have to they sort of have to deal with and have to figure out to my thing is like, I wish no executive wanted to openly talk about it. No one really wanted to get into it, but I wish they'd be like, like, fuck these people. Like, because the thing is what I think about a lot of them is all of their kind of points, like either with the Brie Larson stuff or how great the Joker is, all those things have descended in popularity. And like, to me, it's like, I feel like they're less part of the cultural conversation than they've gotten, because I think that Justice League thing hurt them more than helped them in the long run. Because I think when people watch that, they're like, what was this about? Like, this is not, like, the public was never into this shit. So I think it's like, I wish they'd just been like, fuck those people. Because most of them are like I think I tweeted, like, I don't trust the opinion of like, the opinion of racists is not a valid opinion. And like, you're going to be racist and sexist and say like, because a black person's in a movie, it's political and crap like that. Like, you don't really, like, you have no business being there. And they did talk about how it's a limited minority of people who do these sort of things. It's like, to me, like, let it go. Like, I don't know. It just made me think none of them really have any bravery or any balls to really put up with this. So I don't know. But it did seem like people were making up. If you read the article, it seems like at most they do focus groups, which is sure, whatever. They say they can ask them and change a movie. But they also, I think this was sort of planted because there's no example of a movie changing because of these toxic fans. There's no example. Like, if there's an example, I'd be like, oh, and we changed the ending of Aquaman 2 because we knew they would write videos about how we're too woke if we did that ending or something. Like, there is an example, but there isn't an example. So to me, it's like, I'm kind of on the fence of like, I think this is sort of like to inflate egos a bit and calm things down potentially. But it to me, like doing a focus group or something like that, you don't have to use the info you get from the focus group. But using that focus group to change art, I don't agree with that. I don't mind if it's like for advertising. I don't see what the issue is there. That's just advertising. But if you're changing the piece of art, I just don't think the critical drinker and all those guys, like, they don't like movies. They just like talking about how things are different from when they were kids, which I already knew. I don't need to watch any of their stuff to tell you that, And all their theories are like not based on film. They're based on their, shrinking importance culturally, which is something they really care about. But if they, I don't know. Okay, that's Cornbread's bringing up the Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, but Rise of Skywalker was horrible. Like, all those people who got upset about The Last Jedi, none of them want to admit that like what they want is not a good movie. Like, people always do that stuff. It's like the whole argument, like, well, don't go in the house in the horror movie. I'm like, but what you want is not a movie. Like, I don't know. I forgot to bring up with DC thing, and I even searched it, but Aaron Pierre was cast as Jon Stewart in Lanterns. We don't know. And what's interesting about this one, I brought up the Kyle Chandler thing recently, is that we don't know if there is a movie element or not. We know Kyle Chandler's deal is TV only. We don't actually know that about Aaron Pierre. So I'm curious if there is, but he was really good in Rebel Ridge. I have shot a review of that. I hope to edit it at some point. I think, good for him. I'm glad he's getting a big role. I think after seeing in Rebel Ridge, I'm like, yep, sounds good to me. Like, as soon as I heard he was up for it, I was like, I don't know. After I watched him that, I was like, I feel like I need to see him in a bunch of action movies. I think that would work out for him. So, congrats. I think he'll nail it and all that stuff. Sorry, my spelling on something's a little off, so I'm looking up that. But let's talk about trailers. The Invincible Fight Girl, who I believe Ian worked on something on. I saw him tweet about it, but the trailer for that came out. It's coming out in early November. It looked really, really cool. I'm excited for it. It looks like a cool thing. I should probably review the trailer at some point, but it looked really awesome. I'm excited for that. We also got the trailer for Gentry Chow versus the Underworld, which looked decent. It wasn't as amazing or anything, but looked okay. I'm more Invincible Fight Girl kind of has me more interested. Not that anyone's comparing them, but just because they're both next to each other on my document. The Juror number 2 trailer I thought looked that one looked interesting, although it's a bit of a, like, the whole thing is he's this guy on the jury, and he realizes he is guilty of the crime that the person he is on the jury, or who is on trial for, and he did the actual crime. But it's sort of like one of those, like, but it was an accident things or whatever. It looks like it could be a fun legal thriller thing, but we'll see. It is Clint Eastwood. I believe it's the last Clint Eastwood movie, from my understanding. We got the trailer for Ballerina with Ana de Armas. I think she looks really cool in an action movie, as seen from No Time to Die, which is probably the best scene of that whole movie. And I hope that does well. No, it looks cool. The John Wick element of it. I know there's a lot of reshoots in that, and a lot of people question why even do that, but they did, so whatever. But it looks like a fun action movie. I hope it doesn't look like she's having as much fun as that, so I think that sort of ruins the perspective she had. The kind of portrayal looks very different, but we'll see. Lucas Anderson said, remember people told Dave Bautista he should play Kilowog Green Lantern? He was like, look, I know I'm not the most handsome dude, but come on. That's funny. Thank you, Lucas Anderson, for the super chat. Nice to see you. Cheers to you. I had not heard that, but that's funny. The one, I'll get to him last. There was the trailer for Baby Girl with Nicole Kidman. That looked like kind of a fun, sexy type movie, I guess. It looked fun. A lot of people were saying it's like her follow up to Eyes Wide Shut. I don't know if I am 100% on that one, but it did look like a cool movie. We got the trailer for the Family Guy Halloween special, which will be on Hulu. That looked, I don't know, maybe I'll review that next movie crap. Maybe we'll see about that. Yeah, it looked like a Halloween special. I don't know much to say there. The one trailer I did hear talk about was Better Man, the Robbie Williams biopic. There seems to be a lot of talk on like what the future biopics are, specifically with something like Walk Hard, which kind of satirizes them all, and you think you couldn't keep making biopics at this point because like the genre is very stale, and the idea of this is a Robbie Williams biopic, but like a CGI monkey plays him the whole movie. I like this idea. I think it's at least interesting. But I think with this and the Pharrell movie being Lego, it brings to mind like I think people are getting a little bored with the genre and like playing with it. That no one wants to do a typical biopic anymore, which is a little more interesting than that. I'm a little more interested in this than I am in like Saturday Night or something. So, and also today is Ed Wood's 100th birthday. Oh, good night, Austin. Good night. Thank you for being here, man. It is Ed Wood's 100th birthday. So it was 100 years of Ed Wood, which I think we're all, the best, worst director of all time. I never saw Killing of a Sacred Deer, and I don't know why I didn't see Killing of a Sacred Deer. It just didn't, never really happened for me. I'm not sure. I don't have a good reason. Okay. And obits, before I take a break. We have two obits this week. Doc Harris, who's the original narrator for Dragon Ball Z, and the voice of Grogar, I think, in My Little Pony Friendship's Magic. I guess I don't never actually watched that show, despite being to two brony cats, as well as the mother of Whitney Houston, Sissy Houston, passed away on the 7th, and Nicholas Pryor as well. And Jordan says, how will Lego Piece by Piece perform and be received? I'm curious how it will be. I don't know. I don't know if I'll see that one or not. There's too many things this year right now, to be totally honest with you. I am a little curious. I don't think it'll do crazy good, but I appreciate that it's at least different. That's pretty cool for real. But cheers to you, Jordan Slough. Or Jordan Bouchard. Jordan Bouchard. So the two Jordans together, sorry. Brain's not working too well. But cheers to you. Okay, so we're going to talk about Creepaway Camp, the SpongeBob Halloween special, which came out today, and we're going to talk about that right when we get back. But I'm going to take a break. But while I use the bathroom and we get ready for that, I'll have you know I found the second bumper again. I reconnected it, so we can watch this again. Yay! So I will be right back after this, and then we will review that, and then we'll do questions. And we sort of have a lot of time. I guess I ran through stuff a little quickly, so maybe we can. I do hope the Lego movie goes more into the clips. I was wondering if it would. I feel like it probably doesn't, but we'll see. Anyway, I will be right back after this, and I will see you all shortly. All right, cool. Okay, we are back. Let me switch. Oh, whoa, that was a weird. I think it stayed for a minute, at least for me. Behind. Anyway, I am back. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention. At the end of. Oh, thank you, Sir Maximus Harwood. The last week of October, there is not going to be a stream. That'll probably be. I think I've talked about it because I'm going on a trip, doing stuff with my family and stuff. It's just going to be compilation videos that week for the most part. So there will not be a stream that week. But then I think it kind of works throughout the holidays where it's like a lot of streams up until the last week of the month. Like I haven't looked at December, but I know like November it's like Thanksgiving week there's not going to be one. Christmas week there probably won't be one. But all the weeks in front of those there will be. So just to let you know, but I know the next 2 weeks I will, but the week of Halloween there will not. So just to let you know about that. All right. Moving on. So, well, we have a bit of time. If anyone wants to do a super chat before the end of the show, not to eBay or anything like that, I'm just saying we're running out of show for you to do so, if you would like to, of course. Okay. I think this might be a shorter one, but I will answer all the questions. So don't worry. Don't worry. All right. So today, this came out today. I think this is one of the few times we have a quick turnaround. This is my water bottle here. Sorry, I want to actually have the chat there. Okay. All right. So, YouTube keeps making me reload the stream video. Hope it's not too choppy. I feel like sometimes it is kind of choppy. Whatever. I think I need to figure that out. Anyway, so today, the SpongeBob Halloween special Creepaway Camp premiered. This is the concept of this is it combines SpongeBob, the current one, with Camp Coral, which is the preschool show or whatever I reviewed one of and don't remember that well. And the idea was everyone in the SpongeBob present timeline, I guess, gets an invitation to come to Camp Coral to have a big reunion. They go, and it's super creepy, like a Friday the 13th movie, and they slowly get picked off one by one. And they do sort of some references to Camp Coral. They do a Psycho shower reference. They've referenced Scream, things like that. I don't mind SpongeBob doing a Halloween episode, and I don't remember or I didn't look up if he's done another one at some other point. There's so many, who knows? But you probably could know. But here's the thing. This is just not very good. It's just it wasn't very funny. It wasn't very scary or spooky or horror-y or anything like that. And I kind of wondered, and it was 45 minutes, which was way too long. Like, this could have been an easy, just a segment, just a 15-minute thing, just a half-hour thing. I have no clue why it's 45 minutes. I didn't laugh at all. I don't actually know who all these characters were. Like, there's one who's like a pickle or something. There's all these, they had so many different ones to get picked off, but I didn't know them all. I tried to call Nintendo to ask him who they all were, but Salty picked up, or when I called him, he said he was Salty, and stop calling me and calling me Nintendo, and I won't review Al. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, Nintendo's weird, but it just isn't really particularly a good special. And with all the 25th anniversary stuff and all the celebration, it felt a pretty big disappointment. Like, what are we even doing? Like, I just didn't, I don't know. I mean, it's like they had the Nosferatu character in it a little bit. They had things like that. Just like, I don't think this will stick out to me. And like, in fact, I think I'll look back on this as a video and I'll go like, oh yeah, that thing. Like, it's so unmemorable. I'm having a hard time even reviewing it. William Ellman says, SpongeBob referencing Sleepaway Camp is wild. I hope the episode has the same ending, lol. It does not. Sorry, I forgot about Sleepaway Camp. Cheers to you, William Ellman. It just wasn't fun. I mean, one of the things, it's like, I think is definitely like, if you want to get upset about the Sandy movie, get upset at this. Like, this is just like, there's nothing really inspiring about it. There's nothing interesting about it. They put so many different characters in there to make it work, which felt totally unnecessary, because the problem is like, you can't have a thing where like characters get killed off when you know Sandy, Patrick, and SpongeBob are not going to get, like, they don't even do that till the end. So it's just like, it doesn't really go anywhere. There's no stakes to it. It like fails at being a horror thing. It's not a funny SpongeBob thing. It felt very like paint by numbers and that. It just, I was really disappointed by this. I think people should be like, don't get upset. The other things people get upset with SpongeBob, I never get that spirited about. But this was just like, it's like, this is a waste of my fucking time. Like, what is this crap? Like, it just like wasn't really funny. I don't want to play it for my kids or anything. I'm like this just felt like some crap you throw on a streaming service. It's like, I just really didn't like it at all. Like, it just felt like it was just like there, and it's like, okay, that's SpongeBob, but like I didn't understand the purpose of it. Like, you connected that in Camp Coral. Good concept, good idea. They had a one CG joke on it, which was all right. But I don't watch Camp Coral. Like, I have no clue about all these. They have way too many side characters in that, which I have no connection to. It like just didn't really work. I felt like it didn't make sense. It was a cool enough of a concept, but it completely failed in execution because I wasn't really that interested in it. You know, I shouldn't be. You know, I think a Wendy's burger was more interesting than your SpongeBob special. I think you've sort of fucked up, and to me, it's like, this is like watching, you know, one of those seasons of The Simpsons that was like completely uninteresting to me. It feels like the same way. Like, SpongeBob has hit that level where it's just like I see they're doing funny things, but like, I'm not laughing, and I'm not interested, and I don't care. And this did not change my mind. And I did not hate the Sandy Cheeks movie that much, but this is like so bland. I barely know and remember that it existed, and I watched it today. Like, it's like you can see it fading as you're watching it. That's like how unmemorable this fucking thing is. Like, it fails at being a Halloween special. It fails at being SpongeBob. I don't exactly know what it succeeds at, but whatever it does, I'm not interested. I just think, like, you know, I know it's called Creep Away Camp, but it should be called Keep Away Camp. Because you should keep away from this garbage. Frankly, it just wasn't. And I don't mean it as it offended me. The only way that it offended me is because it was just like not really that good. So, you know, I'm not upset or think, you know, it's just like what is this? Like, this is what we're doing with SpongeBob now? Like, we can't, whatever. Have fun with the Krabby Patty. But I do want to do a Krabby Patty video. I'm interested, but you know, the thing about the Krabby Patty, thing is, I was a little like not sure about doing a video because I was like, well, I do kind of not love that Hillenburg was like, I never wanted them to do this, and they're like, oh, he's dead, let's do it for the thing. But I'm also like, everyone's like, you should just, it's fine. No one's, if anyone is offended, please actually let me know. I'm probably gonna shoot it tomorrow or something, but I just don't. Yeah, it's a little, I don't know. I do feel, I have mixed feelings on it, but it's just a Dave single. I'm not surprised. Anyway, all right, so let's just let's just do these questions. Let's roll this. Let's finish the questions below. I'm going to do the Patreon questions first. Another Patreon perk if you're a patron. Oh, wait. I have one on there. Oh, I didn't delete it. It's okay. Jordan Bouchard asks, what are your opinions on the prices of movie theater tickets these days? And what, if anything, would you change about the movie-going experience to improve it overall? The trailer thing has gotten really out of hand. I would say that. I do think there should be more opportunities for matinees and more opportunities for cheaper movies at certain points, because they really don't do that. And I understand the theater business is struggling and it's hard for movie studios and everything like that. But at the same point, it's like you need to get people in, and we're not invested enough in getting new viewers of movies. And I think like in the movie business really needs to work on the theater thing and having fun things to do. That's a positive in my mind. We talked about that last week. But yeah, like making it easier, making more show times, but like reclining chairs, all that stuff, I think that is good. But I do think the price has gone too high. So make more matinees every day. Don't cancel them on Saturdays. I know people like to do that, but we'll see. Sinram asks, your personal choices for best use of IMAX or large format theatrical presentation and best use of 3D in the 21st century. I never hear this brand up anymore, but I saw Gravity. I'll give a few examples. Gravity in the IMAX at Lincoln Square was absolutely amazing. I really love seeing that in IMAX and in 3D, and I haven't seen it. I got to see it twice, and that was absolutely amazing. I think I saw it with my wife and my sister-in-law, and I had like scrapes on my arm afterwards because it's so intense. But I thought that was one of the better thrill ride IMAX experience. Also, like I saw Life of Pi in a RPX that doesn't exist anymore, RIP Court Street in Brooklyn, but that was a great, probably my best large format thing. I used to sit where the handicap seats are because I have long legs and I could really stretch out, and it felt like all I was seeing in my field of vision, was Life of Pi, but I thought that was really good. And I can't think of Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, and of course Speed Racer. I'm gonna throw those up, but those are IMAX ones. Lucas Anderson, sorry, there are other Patreon questions, but because it's a super chat, with nostalgia reboot culture, MC Scat Cat movie, I would love that. I actually showed my kids Scat Cat recently. Cheers to you, and cheers to MC Scat Cat. I think we actually finished There's enough for like one more super chat. We're gonna finish. We haven't finished the energy drink in a while. Appreciate that, guys. So Nathaniel Foga asks, you think the situation that happened with Joker 2 is similar to what happened with Batman Returns, where after the success of the first one, WB gives the director creative control for the sequel, ultimately ending up in a way the studio wasn't expecting? I did not think of that comparison, but the way you phrased it, Nathaniel Foga, I'm sort of like, in a sense, yes. And I do think the thing with WB is they've been known to stick by their auteurs. So I sort of think in a sense, yes. But I think Batman Returns is different than Joker with Todd Phillips, because it was like Tim Burton was becoming like the auteur he was and wanted to bring that to Batman. And Todd Phillips, well, I didn't see Joker 2. Todd Phillips, it doesn't feel like he did that, but I haven't seen it, so I can't fully answer that question. So you can ask it again after I've seen Joker 2. Or you should. But I think it's a little different, but I understand your similarities. I think that was an actually interesting phrased question. Good job there. And finally, we always do this last, the Patreon questions. Austin says, hey Jim, great show. Sorry, I've been super busy today. I hope you're doing well. Hopefully I'm still awake at this point to watch you answer my question last. Anyway, he's not. Anyway, my question is, I'm going through all the live-action Transformer movies for my letterbox, going to start the last night. In your various retrospectives, do you have any movies you find really boring or painful to watch, but had to for completion? When I did my William Wellman series, or when I do those series, there's always one I'm like, oh fuck, I have to do this. I think there was a few William Wellman ones, like his Aviation, but then I end up sort of liking them. One I found really boring to watch for completion. See, the thing is, like, there probably is one. I can't think of. I mean, I didn't like the Cat Returns, or I'm not a big Howl's Moving Castle person, so I think those would probably be ones I might pick. That's probably controversial. Yeah, maybe say those. I'm sure there's a William Wellman one that I wasn't super high on, that a lot of people love. So maybe I'll pick my word. But there have been times like, oh no, I long wanted to redo this because every time I've watched all the Io Lupino directed movies, and every time I've gone through them and tried to review thing, it gets canceled. Like, I've never done it for my own channel, but I did for Illusion Trials by Streetcar, and they never aired the podcast. And I think there was another thing I was going to write about it, and that got canceled. It's like one of like my undone series is an Ida Lupino review series. So I'd say like her last one I think is about a bigamy or something. I do not like this. Is like not very good. That's the only one I'd say of hers. I'm like, ugh, not into it. Not into it. I think she's a great director. The Hitchhiker is really good. The only film noir directed by a woman during the film noir era. The only one. Okay. Questions. Zane Powers asks, was the Joker never about the Joker? Wait, what? Sorry. Was the Joker never about the Joker? It was about Arthur Fleck? Sure. I guess so. Cornbread. Question. With the release of Joker 2, has come questions of what went wrong from a director drunk with power to WB blinded by the first movie's success, but not asking the lack of Katana Wolfman. I heard a lot of people say it actually had. Oh, I forgot to mention it had the lowest cinema score of any mainstream comic book movie, like a D. Like, comic book movies never get bad cinema scores, and this one really did. It was funny. I think Katana Wolfman really hit it. Who is your favorite underappreciated cartoon character? I would say mine is Bimbo, Betty Boop's womanizer dog boyfriend. I feel like Chili Willy is becoming my one because I really sort of like that dude, and I'll just watch a few cartoons of him, and I like him a lot. I'd say he's my current bud. I like him. Or I like, yeah, I'm going to go Chili Willy. I know I showed off him recently, but I have watched some since, and I do enjoy him. Anytime I watch the Woody Woodpecker Hour, or really the Walter Lance Hour, because that's how they do it on Me TV Tunes. But anytime Chili Willy comes on, I'm like, Chili Willy. I like Chili Willy. William Owen, who's your favorite alive director? I would say Eli Roth. He blows. Who's your least favorite alive director? Least favorite. Might be Adam McKay. Might be Todd Phillips. Guy Ritchie? No, I've heard those are good and I haven't watched them, so I'm just gonna go Adam McKay or Todd Phillips. Why not those two? Why not? Who is excited for The Incredibles? What? I don't understand that same powers. Alright, what's your favorite drink that's not an energy drink? I like Dr. Pepper a lot, to be honest with you. That's like my real soda choice, to be honest with you. Who here is excited for the election? Not I was thinking about that tonight. How do I want to watch the election? I was like, kind of don't want to watch the election. Can we just as long as Trump doesn't win, do not want him coming back. Cornbread. So you know how Beetlejuice is still making money theatrically. Did you know it just released on digital on the 8th during spooky season? This and Joker next to each other. Eesh, WB. I do find the digital thing interesting because it still made $10 million. And I don't think most people do the digital thing. I did the rental thing with the Pelican Brief. And you have 48 hours once you start the movie. Which is that's worse than that's like every movie has the Blockbuster new release window thing. I think it should be 72 or maybe 100 or something. I feel like you should get more hours out of it was a $3 rental. Like, I feel like you should get more out of that. I don't know, but it feels like most people aren't doing that. I don't know the money they're making on these things, but just I don't know. Weston here says, I sat through 20 minutes of commercials and only one trailer. Yeah, I've noticed that. It's like sometimes it's more commercials than trailers. Like, I don't care about stupid cars and a lot of Disney vacation crap, I've noticed. Anyway, The Rocket Lomax. What's the point of Riff Trax Mystery Science Theater when you have such great comics like the Nostalgia Critic exist? You know, I think I mentioned this before, but I actually watched a Sci-Fi Channel. I think it's season... I don't know what season it was. It was the Parts to Clonus site. Is that 8? I think it's 8 if I remember correctly. And I remember... No, maybe it's 9. Anyway, it's Sci-Fi Channel for sure. But that... like Linkara and Todd in the Shadows and Nostalgia Critic have all said that those seasons specifically influenced them, and I'm like, that is like so telling. But it's funny that like the Mystery Science Theater people don't like that stuff. I actually don't. I still think even the newer ones are better than any skits that crew made. Zane Powers, how much longer do you think we have to deal with the anti-woke trend and we can go to the next dumb bullshit as a society? I do think the anti-woke thing is like too far, because I like what people used to say, because of woke is a joke. But I do think it's sort of over, like, you know. I felt proud of my woke joke a couple of weeks ago where I was like, the only thing that woke has messed up is my sleep schedule. I felt proud of that because it was stupid, but anyway, sorry. The Westonator. As a country bumpkin, I've always been curious, what's life like in big New York City? It's pretty, okay, here, I'll say this about this and I'll give you a real answer. I feel like the problem when people come to New York City and they go to like Times Square and the really busy touristy areas and they're like, I could never live like this. I'm like, same, bro, I don't live like this. Like, we all live in like neighborhoods and like in Brooklyn or Queens, and like it's like a normal kind of neighborhood and everybody knows each other and stuff like that. It's not like, you know, the people pick the worst parts of the city to like stay in, and they're like, man, New York sucks. I'm like, yeah, I know, I would think that too if I stayed there. What the fuck? So it's pretty normal. It's pretty like, you know, it's just a lot going on, and you know, a lot stores. I think the one thing is like things change and evolve faster than like you know, where I go back to Baltimore, it's like if a store changes, it's pretty dramatic and a big deal. And here, like, that can happen within the course of 5 years. It can happen 3 or 4 times. And I think in most cities, and I don't know your city specifically, your country, it doesn't, you know, trends don't change that quickly economically. So I would say that's the only big difference. But anyway, Jordan Slothflow, with people claiming the Joker is about an outsider revolutionary, what are better movies with this concept? I think Bamboozled, actually. I would put Bamboozled. Let's say that. The Spook Who Sat by the Door also. Yeah, let's say those two. Cornbread, following up to the last question, do you think both Joker and Beetlejuice would make more money if they swap release dates? Beetlejuice, obviously, but Joker feels September. I was no Katana Wolfman in there. Come on, Cornbread. But no, don't disagree with that. I think Joker would have bombed even more. Not plausible. It probably would have worked out for him. Other than MomoCon, have you been to any other cons like NYCC? I went to New York Comic Con. There's a video of it. I didn't unlist it or anything. Maybe. Anyway, if there's a con playlist, you can find it there. I've been to New York Comic Con. I did MomoCon. I've thought about the Brooklyn Comic Con. It's just hard because I have 2 kids and they're like, you know, kind of, you know, there's a lot to look after them. So I don't know when I'll get to go to another con at this point. I would like to at some point. But I'm also like, you know, I'm not in a podcast. I don't have buddies to go with necessarily. So I think I would have to, if I had, okay, jeez, what? If I had someone to go with, I probably would, but I don't presently, and it's not letting me. Okay, YouTube is not letting me go up. So I think we'll see. But I did go to New York Comic Con the one time because it was like free for people who are making stuff, and then I don't know if there's anyone's having a party around then. I would go. Is that next weekend or something? I'm really anyway. Would you show your kids the Demented cartoon movie? I don't know what that is, so I can't say either way. Question, respond to me, or if I don't get to it, write in the comments what you mean by that. Ramming Heriko Shrine. Jordan Slavso, what do you think of the reactions to Joker 2 and Megalopolis? They're interesting. Megalopolis I really would like to see and understand what's going on there, but I think it's funny. It's interesting that like we have a lot of weird movies out. I kind of like that though. Thank Fogo, worst Halloween candy? Candy corn, of course. Not plausible. What shows would you like to show your kids when they're older? We did Over the Garden Wall. That didn't go over super well. It was a little too scary. I would like to do Adventure Time, regular show, Avatar, Last Airbender soon, stuff like that. Same power. Should we only give 10 scores to movies that truly advance the medium or are revolutionary in some way? No, but if you do, I think just paying for it would help them enough. Question: stuff like the Terminator anime are doing pretty good, and that Blade Runner anime as well. There's quite a few 80s action series animes. Does that make Disney not releasing the Alien vs. Predator anime worse? Yeah, it kind of makes them look like real idiots, though. William Ellman, what are recent movies you think are overrated? I would say Anatomy of a Fall. Whoa. I sort of agree with you. And Manchester by the Sea. Wow. I don't disagree with you there. I mean, I like those, but would I put them as much praise as most people? No. I mean, I feel that way about Oppenheimer. I'm not a big Nolan person. As I say, I usually see them out of obligation. I do feel like he's overrated. I would say those. I don't want to do a mainstream that's like for mainstream people because I feel like sometimes it's like people get swept up in the moment. So it's like saying like Deadpool and Wolverine. It's like I feel like people just get swept up in that, and it's like I feel like what you're talking about is like big movies. One thing I don't like about the Oscars with the foreign films, like I don't think I like the Cold War movie as much as most people, but I don't like how they just pick these random ass foreign films. And there's no continuity to it. And I like that people are seeing foreign films, but it feels like people every year we get 2 random foreign film picked, and we all see it, and it feels like there's no follow through. It's just sort of like in an empty void. And then next year we see another one, and it gets propped up, and then it like goes away, and there's like no continuity to it. So that I don't like. I'm trying to think. I didn't like The Irishman that much. I think people would be surprised. I didn't actually like that much. I think that's actually overrated. So. And I like Scorsese, and I like The Silence, and I like Killers of the Flower Moon, but I didn't like that one. So, yeah, I would say The Irishman. Surprising, because I like most Scorsese, but I really didn't like it. There's a review of me like not liking it, which I still haven't edited because I felt kind of bad, and then I got busy, and I was good. At one point, I don't know. Why did you just make the movie Joker after some guy? Is he stupid? I like that. Rumiku Hiriku Shrine. Zane Powers might have missed it, but did you talk about the Muppets lot being reportedly bought by Scientology only for that to be disproven? I did not, but I did hear about that, and that was kind of interesting, to be honest with you. Jordan said, how do you think the live-action Lion King 2 will perform? Will less people see it than the first? My honest prediction for the Christmas box office, and I'm serious about this, is I think Moana 2 is just going to destroy everything. I just don't. I see that as a monster, and I think by the time we get to Christmas there'll be some leeway, but I just don't see. I think Sonic 3 will beat it. I think it'll do okay, but I think there's a lot of these movies that think they're gonna break out. It's like you're dealing with something that's gonna suck up all the air in the room, even if it's subpar. There's just nothing new there. Zane Powers it won't do as well as the first. Zane Powers is saying Scarlett and Rhett should have gotten together and gone with the win, as bad as asking why they didn't enter the house in the horror movie. I've heard people say that. I don't. I think the point is they have a tumultuous relationship. Anyway. Jordan Bouchard, what commentaries do you remember enjoying? I loved all the Kevin Smith ones. One that is not talked about is Jack Nicholson gave one commentary. I think it's called The Passenger, if I'm correct. He did an Antonioni movie, at least in the 70s, and he sort of gave a kind of sort of him narrating it. It's one of the more interesting commentary tracks. I'm trying to think what else. There's a lot. Those are the only ones that come to mind. So let's just say those. Have you lived there your whole life? Jordan Richard. No, I grew up in Baltimore. So Baltimore and then New York. Do you believe in ghosts and aliens? I believe there's other stuff we don't understand. I don't know. Yeah, I believe in that. I believe that there is that stuff. Zane Powers, Jim, I know every election they say it's a matter of survival for the country and we should just off ourselves if the wrong candidate doesn't win. But this time they mean it right. I mean, that's sort of, yeah. Not plausible. Are you at all surprised that Pharrell's happy was purely sarcastic? Is that true? I'm not surprised by that because wow, we have a lot of things here. If you know his work on the Clips album Hell Hath No Fury, he is sort of ironic. I didn't know that, but that's interesting. And then Christian Gutierrez in the news that a majority of Cartoon Network shows have been removed on Max. What physical media box for Cartoon Network are you happy owning? I kind of downgraded a lot of that stuff, but I do have Batman the Animated Series on a great Blu-ray set, so I'd say that one. Even though it's not, I had some regular show collections, but I have some downloaded and stuff like that. Doug Walker was on Rift Tracks? I didn't know that. Which Pokemon would you choose? Plant type, water? I'm just gonna say Pikachu. Cornbread, kind of more correcting the thing you said on Beatles. What would you said is true? However, it was also same day digital purpose. You can just buy it. I don't know about that's expensive though. Digital purpose. Did you watch any Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, or Digimon? I watched Pokemon with my brother, but I didn't watch the other two. Oh, you're only one Katana Wolfman per stream. Okay. Caden Handshake. Hey Jim, big fan. Sorry. Hey Jim, big fan here. Been watching you since 2015. Oh, thank you. Hey, I was wondering, what is your favorite movie based on a book? I mean, probably Jaws, to be honest with you. Probably Jaws. I think that's a Jaws or I'm just gonna go with Jaws. Let's say Jaws. How does it feel? But thank you for watching me so long. That's really nice of you. I need to make some Jaws videos. I've decided. Maybe next year because it's like the 50th, I think. How does it feel knowing I have an infinite amount of questions I can ask you and I'll stop and never slow down? I'm okay with that, Zane Powers. How would you rank the first 3 films in the Frankenstein series? Whatever the third one was would be bottom. I might go Bride 1, Frankenstein 2. But I think I almost kind of want to go in the order because the first Frankenstein's so good. But Bride of Frankenstein's a lot of fun. So I'm going to say Bride, Frankenstein, and then what was it, Son of Frankenstein? I've seen it. I just can't remember the name. But I would put that one last. William Melman. Would a dating app focusing on movie dates work or help the movie business at all if it caught it? No, I don't think it would. But that's an interesting idea. You're cool. You don't need to worry about participate as much as you want. There's no rules here. Just good for you. I think I feel my energy dipping. So let me answer. I think I did a lot of. Oh, there's not that many. So, how would you rank the first 4 films in the Living Dead series? Is that like Night of the Living Dead and stuff? I go I think that's what you mean. Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, then the bottom one. The other one, I guess. I'm sorry, Medela Butterfly. I hope you're okay. Question: Joker and politics. Where the nice question is that better or worse than the Blind Side of Police? What? I don't understand that. I'm sorry. Ask me that and ask Jim. I'm a little confused. Oh, if you and your family had to live in the fictional world of any horror movie, what would you choose? One of the ones where nobody gets killed, maybe? What? long time caller, first time listener. How am I supposed to open this can of beans? I don't have a can opener or a knife or fingers. Or should I just try to not? Yes. What? Anyway, okay. I'm gonna go now. I'm starting to feel. Oh man, it is way past when I was supposed to end this. All right. So I think that is it. We've done. I thought it was gonna be a short stream, and we ended up going way later. But I want to say thank you. The sorry, the timestamp's going on. I'm just gonna kill this. I can put it right in the recycling. Look at that. All right. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for the super chats too. Oh, I should have done that with the last. Whatever. Super chats were tonight from Austin, Sinram, John Barton, William Ellman, Austin, Jordan Bouchard, Nathaniel Foga, William Ellman, Jordan Bouchard, William Ellman, Lucas Anderson, and thank you all very much. This is so nice of you for that. I really very much appreciate it. Thank you very much. I feel like it was a good show. I will see you all next week. I believe there will be a review tomorrow. Thank you for everything. You guys have a good night. Get a good night's sleep. And I will see you all next time. Have a good night, and I'll see you later. Bye, and subscribe if you would like to. Peace.